Welcome to the Memoirs of John Nathan Turner, me. Over the next few intimate hours, I shall attempt to give a personal and detailed view of my memories of the time that I spent on the programme that is forever implanted on my memory, and I'm sure on yours, Doctor Who. I watched Doctor Who from the beginning. It was part of our family ritual on Saturday evenings in the Midlands where I was born, and it became an enormously important part of my life. I had a grammar school education and intended to go to university to gain a degree before pursuing a career as an actor. I was offered a place at Hull, but to read drama and theology, the latter being a subject in which I really wasn't very interested at all. So after much thought, I turned it down and started looking for work in the theatre, much to my parents' dismay. I managed to gain a stage management job at the Alexandra Theatre in Birmingham for the princely sum of 10 guineas a week, with the promise of occasional acting opportunities. But after 3 years of professional theatre work, it was a review in a newspaper which shredded my performance in Treasure Island, which finally made me decide that my career may lay off stage rather than on. Luckily, through the contacts I'd made in the industry, I soon landed a 4-month contract as a floor assistant at the BBC. 3 months after I started with the corporation, I had my first encounter with the Doctor, Patrick Troughton's Doctor to be precise, in a yarn entitled The Space Pirates. The atmosphere at rehearsal in a very dingy church hall in North London was great fun, but when it came to the studio recordings at Lime Grove, I hated it. It was less fun generally, as the pressures to get the programme recorded allowed little time for the antics of Pat, Wendy and Fraser, who were all quite outrageous at rehearsal. Worse still, the dressing rooms were situated on the ground and basement floors, and the studio was on the 4th. I seemed to spend my entire time running up and down the stairs to call the cast, as the tiny lift was constantly occupied by the interminable travels of the late-night current affairs programme's personnel and their special guests using the studio next door. If I'd been at the BBC for a few months longer, I would have gone into my manager and requested never ever to do a Doctor Who again. However, as I was still working my way through my first contract, I thought I'd better remain silent. Nevertheless, it was an
Sample complete. Ready to continue?